Very, very nicely, Rico. And on that, we're going to go to a commercial, and we're going to be right back.
Sick of the December cold? Then fly out to Miami in December for Terp Basil, December 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Presented by Sherbinski's at Skatebird in Miami, with tons of your favorite brands in attendance for this 4-day event, as well as Hyatt 9 News as one of the media partners. With live performances throughout the week by Dead Prez, Mayday, Visions Band, and Washi Fire. So, do like the birds and fly south to Miami for Terp Basil this winter, December 7th through the 10th in Miami, Florida.
Up next is the Hyatt 9 head honchos, known for smoking the best weed in the world and his unwavering support for day one dictators.
Stop
Jason Beck.
Greatest president America's had, and should have been our president right now. We wouldn't be in this crazy mess right now. See? Exactly. I saw the eye roll, Rico. I saw
Fake
that.
news.
I saw
Fake
that.
news.
I saw that. But I'll tell you what. Ohio is in the news again today because a Republican representative who supports legal marijuana in Ohio has his own plan to implement Issue 2. That's right. There's a new bill in the Ohio House to implement the marijuana law voters approved back in November. This bill is sponsored by a Republican lawmaker who has been a longtime supporter of legal cannabis, and he doesn't make as many changes to the voter-approved initiative as some other proposals. Representative Jamie Collender, Republican from Concord, said his bill would keep much of the voter-approved provisions intact. In a quote, he says, "I want to make sure that here in this chamber, the people's house, that we carry out the will of the people, and the people have spoken," Callender said. But Callender said his bill addresses some concerns for legal marijuana opponents that he thinks are legitimate. In quotes, "I want to respect those that have been opposed to this issue from the get-go. They have brought up some valid points that I think we can address and remain in the spirit of what the people passed," Callender said. What the bill does is it aligns with Ohio's ban on smoking in public places, so pot could not be smoked in any place that currently prohibits tobacco. It limits advertising so that it does not market the products to children, and it adds a 10% tax on marijuana cultivators, as well as a 10% tax on retail sales. It keeps a home grow provision that allows up to 6 plants per person and 12 maximum in a household, but contains what Collender calls guardrails to ban many pot farms. And Collender said his bill does not change the THC allowed in products and said the proposal represents middle ground on the issue. Collender said it's important for lawmakers to keep two concerns in mind: that Ohio's plan needs to be reasonable and attractive so Ohioans don't continue to go to Michigan to buy cannabis, and the law needs to be significant enough to tamp down the illicit market. Can lawmakers reach a consensus on a plan soon? Well, I'll tell you what. One House bill on pot is more restrictive, allowing communities to ban marijuana sales, and the Senate is debating its own bill that makes changes to Issue 2, including banning home growing of plants. That bill got more than 3 hours of testimony on Tuesday afternoon, and advocates, industry members, and medical customers like Anthony Riley cautioned that they believe some of the bill's regulations could send Ohioans to illicit markets or out of state. In a quote, "We're trying to do this the Ohio way. We already lost in football. Why do we have to lose in cannabis?" Riley said. Several billboards advertising associations also took issue with the restriction on ads, and Collender said he can't support the Senate bill, but said there is bipartisan support for his plan, though so far no Democrats have signed on. And for his part, Speaker John Stevens, Republican from Kilts Hill, doesn't have much to say about the marijuana proposals as of right now. In a quote, "There are a lot of different ideas that are going on about it, and we'll continue the discussion," he said, and he walked with reporters in the state house hallway. Issue 2, the newly passed marijuana law, goes into effect Thursday, December 7th, and Collender said he doesn't think his implementation plan or any other under the consideration could be put into effect before then. Well, I think this is great news, and I'm glad to see Republicans standing up for home grow and some reasonable courses. I think the tax rates are a little erroneous, but whatnot. But I'm not based in Ohio, so I'll see what you guys have to say. And this is Jason Beck for the High at 9 News. Adam, do you have a sound for these Republicans members? There we go. When Republicans do good, we give them an elephant. Mm-hmm.
Trap always wins, Jason.
The trap is definitely going to win in Ohio with what they're trying to propose for sure. This 10% on cultivation and 10% at the retail. That's the extra 20% that people are going to have to pay, and they're not going to be happy when they're paying it.
I would just like to note my comments last week have just been validated. These motherfuckers are mad that they lost to Michigan and they're taking it out on the people.
It is. They are definitely mad that they lost to Michigan. They are really mad about it. That is for sure. They don't want you going to buy weed in Michigan. They don't want you having nothing to do with Michigan.
For real, I caught that. I'm like, damn, they're really fucking, like, he even said it in the press release. Like, yo, we're stopping the people from going to Michigan. Like, God
Yeah,
damn.
they're serious
We
about
already
it.
lost to Michigan on the football field. Now we're going to lose to them in Cannabis. Y'all ain't getting nothing. None of y'all what y'all want.
This points out that Republicans can be as crazy about tax and regulations as Democrats can be. And I point this out to many of my friends on both sides. You piss and moan as a Republican about tax and regulations, and you can't run a business. So you give them their head, okay, make tax and regulations, and 10% for cultivators, 10% for the retailers, and the regulations are tighter than a